problem. To me, that is basically theft.
Rory, 39%, according to the UK government,
Yeah,
of employers mispay their employees.
yeah.
Welcome to another podcast session hosted by MyPayCalendar team, Rory, and myself, David.
Boom.
Boom!
39% of employers mispay their employees. WH Smith came up. Marks and Spencers came up. Argos came up. Lots of popular, well-known brands do mispay their employees. They're one of the 200 firms that got directly named and shamed by the UK government.
And why is that?
Why is that? There's multiple reasons why. One of the biggest reasons is accountants don't quite log people's hours correctly. That's one thing. Sometimes companies take deliberate measures to abstract their wages. Do you want an example of what they're doing?
Sure.
Well, one thing that you could do, which is possibly illegal, I'm not really sure 100%, is you get your wage slip for January. You have a number written down, 1,200. That's it. No other information. And the employee who's been paid by the hour is just to take it. I've had personal experience with that. They called it a pay slip, but you had no way of knowing the hours you worked or the rates of pay you were entitled to.
And I got some information that sometimes payroll errors due to, let's say, technical issues from the
Yeah,
software
yeah,
also contributes to that. And also human error as
yeah.
human nature, it costs stuff like that as well.
I think sometimes there's a difference between a company making a mistake once and then a company just letting it happen again and again and again. One's a genuine mistake, the other is willful ignorance. Like, well, we're not doing it on purpose to mispay you, but we're not fixing the problem. To me, that is basically theft.
Yes. Rory, Rory, you know I'm laughing, right?
Why?
As far as the business
Hmm.
ecosystem exists, right?
Yeah.
We have so many instances and cases where, say, for example, employee mispayment.
Hmm.
We also have so many other problems, for example, taxing,
Yeah.
errors that make people lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we, just like you just called it out for what it is,
Yeah.
right? We, for the most part, that's the way the system is set up, do
Hmm.
not call these issues out the way it is. And that's why I
Yeah.
think sometimes we find out that this for so many years keep happening and happening and people get ripped off.
Well, I mean, there's a really great example of like where it's institutionally going wrong. A great example is the fact that 50% of employees
Right.
think they're earning the market rate, a competitive rate. They're earning the average rate. Let's say the average rate is 24,000. They think they're earning that. The reality is only 20% of those people are actually earning the average rate. The majority of those people, the other 30%, don't even know that they're being clinically underpaid.
Wow.
And 10% of the low earning jobs aren't even low earning. They shouldn't exist as jobs in that low earning bracket. They shouldn't exist, but people are actually, I have no better word to use than exploited, because they could be earning skilled they could be earning skilled labor wages, but they're actually being pushed down. And I can think of multiple examples. Sometimes I saw in my personal experience HGV drivers being paid 12 or 13 pounds in the past. It's gone up a lot since then. I'm not saying that's the case. I should imagine certain skilled warehouse operatives have that same case. And many different security firms. You know, there's some people who are manning a CCTV room with 500 different responsibilities. I mean, man, there was like a camera going off every second, and you had to be switched on, awake for 12 hours at night. they were getting paid about £10 an hour for it. And then there were probably CCTV room staff elsewhere earning 14, £15 an hour with one building to look after.
And
It's just
the
happens.
sad part for me is after going through all this,
Yeah,
and then at the end of the month, say your pay slip doesn't reflect accurately what you truly deserve to be paid
yeah,
due to, say, negligence, due to technical issues,
yeah,
for whatever reason.
yeah.
And millions of employees do not realize that sometimes they have this kind of errors.
Yeah, I think honestly that your statement, millions of employees, was completely correct. I mean, MyPayCalendar has been picked up everywhere from Japan, Germany, North America, and Canada, Europe.
I was surprised, you know.
Yeah, do you know what?
I was surprised.
Who gave us our first 5-star review?
Someone
It was a German.
was a German
Yeah, he
and a
called.
Japanese, right?
Yeah, we got another 5-star review from Japan, and yeah, this German's called it a fantastic app, a gezeignet app. I'm sorry, I can't speak German, but and that was shocking because, yeah, you say millions. I would say it's possibly true in the UK, but let's say we were being ultra critical. Globally, yeah, it's
If we have to say do some kind of appraisal and say cumulatively how much has been lost due to payroll errors or as regards to mispayment by employers, if we say for the past 5 years,
oh,
this probably will be running into a lot of money.
yeah, wouldn't you say the billions?
And this is money that's supposed to be paid to hardworking families,
You're,
people who have kids that they would love to say if they had that money,
yeah,
right? Had family time, bonding with your family, say in a during vacation, or
yeah.
if they had some health issues, that money probably would have helped sort things out, or a certain bill that they probably would have, sorted out if they had this money that was wasted or lost due to negligence, payroll errors, whatever you may call it.
And, the fact is, we don't have to have a broad imagination. But times are risky. Like, we have wars going on now in more than one spot. It's gone from just Ukraine. I'm not going to get political. It's gone to Israel.
Right.
And now it's gone to the Red Sea. Who's not to say there's going to be a fourth or fifth hotspot? And at that point, when international trade is being crippled in the Red Sea,
That's serious.
grain supplies are being crippled in Ukraine,
Hmm.
and then Israel, which is in the center of the Middle East, is a hotspot. Who's not to say where it's going to happen next? And the fact is, working families are going to have to overcome these global problems, and it's serious. People want to pretend it's not an issue, but I'm sorry, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, the world is turning and it's not going in a great direction. I mean, another example is the GDP of the country is going up, but the GDP per capita is not going up.
Well,
Inflation has completely overtaken people's wage earnings, and people at this point in time have to take self responsibility to calculate their earnings if they want to earn every penny they're entitled to.
so Rory, I'm looking through a particular information I'm just seeing from World at Work Compensation Program
Yeah, yeah,
2023. It has identified that several factors, including manual errors, outdated payroll systems, and insufficient training for payroll staff,
yeah.
um, all for the most part contribute to this particular problem where you have employers
But
mispaying their employees.
so I think all of those points are very valid, but I will add another point.
Hmm.
A lot of these companies are now outsourcing their payroll to external companies. And then it becomes an excuse, oh, it's not our fault we mispaid you. It was the outsourced payroll company who mispaid you. You better take it up with them. And realistically, that's quite a difficult position to put an employee in.
Come
And I have unfortunately personal experience of this.
So, when you tell your employer that
Mhm.
you've been mispaid,
Yeah.
and the employer refers you or tries
Yes.
to dilute the concentration of the problem by telling you that it's based
Oh,
on an error
yeah.
by the outsourced
Yeah, yeah,
service provider,
yeah.
what is that supposed to mean?
I think that's just willful negligence. It's just willful ignorance. You can't, as an employer, delegate such a responsibility and then try and blame it. I mean, okay, fair enough. If I was an employer and the first month I outsource this this and then this goes wrong, I'd say I'm sorry, and then I'd say let me fix this. I didn't mean this to go wrong. Let me fix this. We're going to sort this out right now because employers can make mistakes. They're human too. But if my response is, "Oh, sorry, I guess it got outsourced. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about this. Yeah, you're just going to have to live with it."
Sometimes I try to troubleshoot to understand what actually is going on. For example, if you
Yeah,
have an instance where you're being mispaid,
yeah,
right? And you're told, oh, sorry, we're going to resolve this, say, expect it in the next 2, 3 weeks. That probably would be you'll be getting your money in the next
yeah,
pay
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
cycle
a
or pay date.
reasonable.
You
Yeah.
find out that your money probably earned some interest. Would that be paid to you as well?
No, I don't think it will be. And a very serious
You made me laugh.
consideration is inflation.
Right.
You know, when we were going through high inflation and prices were just being put up all the time, or they were removing sausages, the fact is, your £40 you're owed 3 weeks later could be worth £35 in some
You
cases.
can imagine.
Yeah, yeah, it happens.
I'm just putting myself in the shoe of,
Hmm.
say, an employee
Yeah,
who has
yeah,
been mispaid. I probably may go borrow and have to pay interest on what I've borrowed. You
yeah,
can see the ripple effect of the adverse effects of being
yeah,
of what again being mispaid, brings out.
yeah.
And even if I now get paid for for the past one that was missed, it doesn't still cover the fact that still have to pay the interest for the loan I took.
Yes. Yeah, that's a fact. So, David, this was before your time, but there was a massive industry in the UK called payday loans. I'm taking this a bit ta- off task, and these payday loans, the worst one was Wonga.com, and they'd do a payday loan, and they were called straight talking money. This was their interest rate,
5,853%.
APR per annum.
Wow.
Yeah. This was this is what would happen if you repay the loan. This is just an example. They took their interest rates all the way up to
Wow.
5,800%. Now, the UK government did crack down on these firms who were being absolute sharks, but the fact is rather concerning. And the funny thing was they used these old lady puppets to make themselves look innocent. I know it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Like
Mm.
they just pretended to be a firm ran by these nice elderly puppets, but no, yeah, it's absolutely insane looking back on it. Now, I don't think this will happen again. I don't think there's going to be companies that are going to charge 6,000% interest. As you can see, it's back from the 2014, and they even banned it. There you go. Wonga advert banned for implying 5,800% APR was irrelevant.
Wow.
They tried to say the interest was
According to the
irrelevant.
Guardian from 2014.
Yeah,
These are, you know, sources of pressure
yeah,
from being mispaid that you would have employers, when when they mispay their employees, they would sometimes fall into situations where they
yeah,
would have to, go at the mercy of these loan sharks.
yeah. I mean, there'll be loan sharks like that in the UK who are illegally operating.
So what this is, what we're categorically saying is that being mispaid by employer could put you in situations where you fall at the mercy of certain loan sharks, where you'd have to borrow money that you'd, through blood, sweat, and tears, pay back. Meanwhile, if you were paid correctly, you wouldn't fall into this kind of situation. And how do we, Rory, in your opinion, how do we ensure that this doesn't happen?
Well, one of the best measures is prevention in the first place. That's forecasting your income. You know, you when we're able to forecast our income, even if something goes wrong, we can, plan ahead of time. But to forecast your income, you need an ability to track your wages. If you're being paid by the hour, if you're salaried, then it's easier. But if you're being paid by the hour, you need an ability to track your wages. The next method is then preventing being mispaid using your system, which you have devised to track your wages, to take that to your employer, say, excuse me, I think you owe me £2,200 this month, not £2,000. So that's the two things: the preemptive measures and then the reactive measures. So how do we go about making preemptive and reactive measures to these problems? Well, to us, the solution was simple. We decided to make an application called MyPayCalendar.
MyPayCalendar combines
Isn't
together
showing
a
particularly
calendar,
clearly. I'll reboot it again
calculator,
for the
and
benefit
wage
of the
summary
viewers.
so that
We
you
made an
can work out
application,
your wages.
MyPayCalendar,
I
as
will
you can
now
see,
show you how
and it
MyPayCalendar works.
includes
Go
a
to the main
calendar,
menu and
a wage
select the hourly
calculator,
pay
and a wage
selector.
summary,
This
all
is the heart of
neatly integrated
MyPayCalendar. This is where you
into one
input your times and wages,
app
either in simple
application.
mode
Maybe we
or
should show
advanced
them on the
mode.
side of the
As you can
podcast.
see,
Sure,
you
sure.
have a
Let's hold on a minute.
Maybe
comprehensive
that's
list
what we
of
should do.
rates of pay to
So just
make
tell them
sure
about
you are
how
paid
my
correctly.
calendar helps solve this issue.
Well, my pay calendar, it combines the calculator, the calendar, and the wage summary together, all neatly together, so that you as an employee can use these functions in synchronicity, so that you just have to put in your start time, your end time, you get a wage. Boom, just done. It's not an expensive monthly repayment. It's a one-off payment, and in fact, what have we done? We've made it free, so that if you don't believe our word, well, we have now My Pay Calendar Lite, where you can see where you still get half the functions of the app, maybe even maybe even two-thirds of the functions
You have basically everything you need to
to get started.
basically calculate your wages and ensure you get accurate pay. We'll still have some advanced features where you would need to, for example, printing your invoice and stuff. If you really want to get serious about, managing your wages, getting well tracked, and making sure that when you're presenting to your employer, that your employer really knows that this person, yeah, knows what he or she is doing. So those are the things the advanced features help you do. But basically, you can, with the MyPay Calendar app, do, for the most part, everything you need to do to track your wages.
But don't forget, David, it's 3.99, a one-off payment.
Cup of coffee.
It's a cup of coffee,
Sorry,
and
pro version.
we want to reinvest that money to make My Pay Calendar 20 times better. There are going to be so many new features. And if I was you, I'd get on the train early whilst it's been offered at this price, because what you're getting and what you will be getting in the future is it's already a great deal, in my opinion, in our opinion, but it's only going to get better if you get on board right now.
Yeah,
Look,
sure.
yeah,
So what we're saying now, what you're saying categorically, Rory, is that MyPay Calendar can actually be gotten for free by downloading the MyPay Calendar app. I mean the light version,
yeah,
right? So
exactly.
if they go on Android, Google Play, iOS, operating system, they can just download that for free. And
Exactly.
if they find that very appealing and valuable, they can go to the pro version, or they could just decide to go to the pro version and then
Straight
start
to the
doing
pro.
these calculations. Well, as much as it sounds very simple, like Rory just made it presented, it's so simple, but with this simple application, one can save his or herself thousands, even millions of dollars and pounds. For example, we just analyze and troubleshoot how employers mispay their employees, just like we said that 39% and over, according to the UK government.
Yeah.
Employers mispay their employees. And you've had an experience. I have had an experience, Rory.
Well,
Matter of fact,
tell me about your experience.
Rory,
Yeah.
last month
Right.
in December, I
Yeah.
took up a job,
Yeah.
right? And it was paid by the hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, you would not believe that. Oh my God. There was an error. They sent me an email.
Yeah.
No, they sent me an email. No, after I had raised up the concern. So I had to, talk to the employers. Please, can you send over my payslip so I can take it to a look at your
Yeah. Yeah.
calculation? So they did, and I looked at the calculation, the points based on because they calculated based on points and hours worked. So
Yeah.
I did the multiplications. I found out that this isn't correct because I had also referred to what I had already worked with my pay calendar compared to what these guys were doing. Besides,
So
even
you use MyPayCalendar.
that's the point. I had already
Yeah.
figured this out.
This is the
No,
point of the app.
no, they said this when I now made my case because my case was that please, this is how much time I worked. Could you
Yeah.
confirm from your own end how much time I now they now knew that this was somebody that was knowledgeable about what he was saying. It's not like now you can imagine if I didn't know this,
Mm-hmm.
or thousands of employees who
Yeah.
probably would just let this slide
Yeah.
would not know. So they had to apologize and say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We have to get back to
They always
to
apologize afterwards.
and the next week I got credited.
Yeah.
You can imagine. So
Yeah.
if I had left that,
It would have just
it
gone.
would have gone. This is the same thing thousands and millions of employees are suffering and experiencing. And sometimes they don't even know. They will just complain and,
So
oh, the government is bad, this guy will labor, and they don't know how to get to solutions to solve this.
So even if MyPayCalendar can't completely solve the problem, it's part of the problem-solving process, and it can help alert you to the problem because knowing's half the battle. Are you going to be using MyPayCalendar more when you're logging your hourly wages then? Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
most definitely. I mean, it's so easy and straightforward that you just put in, it's not like you have to do so much work. All you put in my rates,
yeah.
put in how much time I'm going to work, right? And then look through a few features if I need to add some more calculations which the application provides, but behind the scenes it just tracks, gives me the result, and I know exactly what I'm supposed to earn. So at the end of the month, if I see anything less than that, I'm sure that, oh man, I'll be like, hey sir, excuse me sir, could you just trying to be diplomatic anyway.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they will understand that this individual knows what he's saying.
And, and it's probably common knowledge, but being diplomatic is always the best way to go.
Right.
You don't need enemies in life, particularly with your employers.
Yeah.
And there's a way of getting what you need versus being belligerent, and
Right.
that's what it all comes down to.
Wow. What a day.
Yeah,
So at this point, my pay calendar lights version is out there, and guys go download this, support the movement, save an employer or an employee from getting mispaid. Rory, do you have any final words?
I really want to say that we definitely want to build more of a community around this application. Our membership is quite low at the moment. We're building up, but we can only really do the best job possible for you guys if we get responses, if we get feedback, if we get your personal stories. One day, David, I would love it if on the app we could say my pay calendar has saved £100 million. from employees. Could you imagine if one day we had a way to track
Most definitely.
all the money we've saved around the world?
Rory, we'll have to do a little freestyle,
Oh God.
a music freestyle
Oh my.
using MyPayCalendar. Do you want to start?
Uh,
Something that rhymes, man.
MyPayCalendar, you never rise when you're a fry. Use MyPayCalendar.
MyPayCalendar. Talk to your employer. Isn't carved like scimitar. Make sure I get my paper. MyPayCalendar. Make me track my wages right. And it makes me sleep at night. And even if the light ain't bright. Come on, man. We just talk at this music thing, but man, we're getting better. The next session, we're gonna do a better freestyle, okay?
All right.
Out. Is that a beam?
There we